Frank Beck Chevrolet Studio Annex, I should say. This is Time Out Overtime on the Time Out Overtime YouTube channel. I'm your host, Rick Arsenal. Give you a little overview of what we're going to be going over today. Former Lion defensive lineman is in some trouble. We'll look at the NBA and NHL playoffs. I was going to again today. I was going to look at the NBA mock draft, but again, we might have to put that off until Saturday. Again, as I say, this story involving Isaiah Buggs. What was the most significant off-season acquisition by the Lions in regard to defense? We'll look at that. And as I said, we get you caught up on the what's going on with the hockey and basketball playoffs. Also, from our good friends at Pro Football Focus, they just released a list of what, in their opinion, and I value that a great deal, as you know, the top 32 wide receivers right now in the NFL. I want to go over that with you too later on the program. So let's dive into this. Let's get started. Time Out Overtime is sponsored in part by Frank Beck Chevrolet on M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville. If it's time for a new to you vehicle, let the sales professionals at Beck's help you choose the right vehicle. New or pre-owned, Beck's has the top selection in the tri-state area with over 200 vehicles in stock. Stop by and see for yourself, and when you're ready, ask for Russ McMorty, Chris Hodis, Danny Smith, Adam Schaefer, Blake Bryant, Cameron Mincio, or their newest sales professional, Bob Flynn. Yep, that's Bob Flynn. And when it comes time to service that new to you vehicle, the service pros at Beck's can fix it. Any make, any model, Ford or domestic, Beck's can fix it. And if you have a bit of a crunch or fender bender, Beck's Body Shop can put it back together just as good as new. So for all your automotive needs, look no further than Frank Beck Chevrolet on M99 between Hillsdale and Jonesville, 517-849-2886, or on the web at frankbeckchevy.com. Come and experience the Frank Beck difference. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. Okay, let's get into this. In the NBA and NHL playoffs, tonight, the T-Wolves staved off elimination the other night. I thought they were going to go down in 4. They did extend it to a game 5 with the Mavericks, which is tonight in Dallas. The Mavericks lead that series 3-1, and I have no doubt the Mavericks will close them out tonight. As you know, of course, the Celtics are already sitting at home waiting to see who they're going to play in the finals, which begin on June the 6th. Be a week from tonight, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would be. June 6th, week from tonight. The Celtics are going to be well rested. They might even be rusty. Meanwhile, over in the NHL, game 5 tonight between the Panthers and Rangers. That series tied up 2 games apiece. Game 5 is tonight in Madison Square Garden. Yesterday, the Oilers even their series up with Dallas at 2 games apiece with a 5-2 win. Game 5 will be in Dallas tomorrow night. It wouldn't surprise me. You've got both of these series now in the conference finals. They're both tied at 2 games apiece. Panthers, Rangers, very even match, as well as the Stars and the Oilers, very evenly matched. Folks, it would not surprise me to see both these series go to 7 games. That's how evenly matched I think these 2 teams are. And no doubt in my mind, these are the 4 best teams in the NHL. And so far, these series have been very competitive. And again, I wouldn't surprise me if they both went 7 games. So that's where that's at. So I wanted to get you caught up on the NBA and NHL playoffs. A former Detroit Lion is in some trouble with the law down in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Isaiah Bugs. But before we get to that, I want to get the Tigers out of the way. They just split a doubleheader yesterday with the lowly Pittsburgh Pirates. Tarek Skubal continues to pitch very well. Cy Young candidate. As they shut the Pirates out 8-0 in the first game yesterday. Pardon me, lost the second game. I think it was 10-2, but who cares at this point? I'm wondering why it was. Like I said, it was a great game. Game won by Tarek Skubal. Second game, they brought some kid up from Toledo who I didn't know a whole lot about. He wasn't doing very well down there, and he got hammered. I don't understand why they couldn't have started Flaherty in game two. It would have given them a much better chance for a sweep. So why they couldn't start Jack Flaherty in game two, we had it explained to us this way: 4-game series coming up in Boston. Who's pitching tonight? Kenta Maeda tonight. You never know what you're going to get from him. He's either very good or very bad. Reese Olson of Barley. Saturday, Casey Mize, and Sunday, well, this is live, and I'm getting a scam call from Utah. So I apologize for that. There's not a whole lot we can do about it right now, but let's just wait for that to stop ringing, and that's fine. I'll take a swig of water while that's it. And yeah, again, you just witnessed live a scam call on my phone here. It happens to all of us. Somebody from Utah attempted to call me. No, I apologize for that. I'm sure something we've all experienced at one time or another. Where were we? The Tigers. Anyway, Jack Flaherty was his turn to pitch yesterday. They decided to hold him out, not pitch him in the second game. Maeda would have been pitching tonight. Olson tomorrow night. Casey Mize. Had Flaherty pitched the second game Sunday, you would have had to bring somebody up on Sunday, either that, or you would have had Flaherty or Skubal pitching on only 3 days rest. So when you stop and think about it, I can understand that. It's 6 on one side and half a dozen on the other. So the bottom line is they're still a game under 500. What are they now? 27-28 or 26-27? I think they're 27-28. Still mired in fourth place in the American League Central, 9.5 games out. I went back and looked at the last year at this time. The Florida Marlins were a game under 500. They ended up making the playoffs. The Minnesota Twins were a game over 500 at this point last year. And of course, they ended up winning the division. So they could look. Cleveland and Kansas City are right up there. You're not going to catch either one of those teams, two teams at this point. It would take a complete collapse by both of them right now to catch them. The best case scenario for you would be to get that third wild card spot. You have to wonder, too, if the trade deadline on July 31st, the Tigers are where they are now. They're 2 or 3 games out of that last wild card spot. Would they be buyers or sellers or not do anything? Earlier in the week, Tiger President Scott Harris did an interview with Brian Kenny on the MLB Network. I have not seen it. I want to go ahead and look at that, watch it before I make any comment on it. But as to what Scott Harris said, interesting. If you haven't seen it yet, you can get it up on YouTube. But I will watch that and comment on it on Saturday. So as far as Isaiah Bugs goes, the city of Tuscaloosa Police Department has filed 2 misdemeanor warrants against Bugs for second-degree animal cruelty. Apparently, Bugs was renting a house down there. A neighbor said he hasn't been there for several weeks. I haven't been able to confirm this. Apparently, he was renting it, and he skipped out without paying $3,100 in bank rent. And when the police went there, they found 2 dogs locked in his back porch for, 10 days anyway, no food, no water, a Rottweiler, and what was the breed of the other dog? Anyway, both dogs were in bad shape. It looks like the Rottweiler is going to be okay, but the other dog had to be euthanized, and that's a shame. And that's too bad. Pit bull, that's what it was. The pit bull was in such bad shape it had to be euthanized. But I'm an animal lover. I've never had a dog or a cat, but I'm sure you've all seen these commercials on TV for the SPCA soliciting a monthly donation to help the cause. And these pictures that they're showing us during the commercial were absolutely heartbreaking. It's a shame. It's a crying shame that things like this are happening now. But so anyway, Bugs' agent, Trey Robinson, told ESPN the Chargers are part of an attempt to force Bugs to close a hookah lounge that he owns in Tuscaloosa. Robinson said the dogs don't belong to Bugs. They don't know how they got there. Bugs had no idea the dogs were on the property. He claims the city of Tuscaloosa used the possibility of charges as leverage against Bugs, offering to drop the charges if he gave up his business license and the hookah lounge in Tuscaloosa. Last fall, we didn't know at the time, but Bugs wasn't playing. The Lions weren't saying a whole lot about it. Apparently, we were told he'd gotten into a verbal disagreement with defensive coordinator Eric Glenn. Bottom line is we're finding something out now, I guess, about Isaiah Bugs, and that is that, again, for a team like the Lions that cares a lot about the content of a player's character every bit as his ability on the football field, I think we're finding something out about the content of Isaiah Bugs' character. I think is he still with Kansas City yet? I think he's still on the practice squad yet. But yeah. Anyway, that's. By the way, speaking of the Lions, I think their best. I think their best off-season acquisition, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Yeah, Marcus Davenport, DJ Reader. I think the most relevant acquisition they made this offseason might have been the 2 coaches. The defensive secondary coach, Deshae Townsend, and more importantly, the defensive line coach, Terrell Williams, who, when Mike Vrabel was fired down in Tennessee last year, he became available, and the Lions immediately went after him. He had other offers, but he made it clear he wanted to come to Detroit. He's highly thought of in the NFL, folks. A lot of people consider him he could very well be the best defensive line coach in the league. He developed a lot of great young players in Tennessee. And the Lions like what he's doing so far with the young defensive lineman they've got here. Broderick Martin, second-year man who was drafted last year in the 3rd round out of Western Kentucky. And even this year, what they've seen him do so far with Mickey Wingo, the defensive tackle out of LSU, who went in the 6th round, I think it was. So I expect both these kids to be part of the rotation in the defensive line. Although, I as I said before, I think Reader and McNeil will get the bulk of the snaps, bulk of the playing time. McNeil, I think, will thrive. I think he'll have a monster season playing in between DJ Reader and Nathan Hutchinson. and he's in the last year of his contract too. Sparky Anderson once said, "Give me 8 guys in the last year of their contracts, and I'll give you a championship." That's food for thought, isn't it? Anyway, speaking of the Lions too, in case you didn't know, episode 1 of the 2024 edition of Inside the Den, which is a Detroit Lion production. Episode 1 is out now. It's an hour and 45 minutes, and it's a must for every Lion fan. It covers the entire season last year, from opening night in Kansas City to the last night of the year in San Francisco. It's an hour and 45 minutes. It's well done, as every episode is. There are some sound bites in there from Lake Tirico. One of these days, when I've got a couple of hours to spend, I'm going to sit down and really watch this thing. It's very well done. Like I said, it's a must for every Lion fan. The episode 2, I think, will not be out until late in July. That covers the war room during the draft and everything. These episodes are very well produced. And like I said, it's a must for every Lion fan. 2024 edition, Inside the Den, episode 1. You get it up on YouTube. Watch it. It's a must for every Lion fan. Anyway, before we get into this PFF Pro Football Focus list of the top 32 wide receivers, as usual, I'd like to put in a good word for a good man who, without his assistance and help, I wouldn't be able to do this. Tim Lindley at Quality PC in downtown Hillsdale is the best tech service guy in our area. There's nobody even close, folks. I mean, he's that good. Smart guy, and even his assistant in there, Zach. They're at 37 Waldron Street in downtown Hillsdale. That's a couple hundred feet west of Howell Street on the north side of the street. Anything at all that requires tech service. Computers, new or used. If the computer you have now needs a little work done on it, Tim's the guy to see. Maybe you just bought a new flat screen TV, smart TV. You need it mounted, programmed, set up. Tim will take care of that for you. Anything. Internet service. You maybe you're changing internet providers. Tim will set that up for you. I sure couldn't do it. Printers, new or used, anything. Tim's the man you want to see on that. Again, he's at 37 Waldron Street in downtown Hillsdale. Quality PC, 517-610-5372. Or better yet, get in there and see them. And when you do, please tell them Rick sent you. We got any more scam calls coming in? No, we don't. Yeah. So anyway, this before I get into this Pro Football Focus list of top wide receivers, would you please do me a favor? Go down there in the corner and smash that like and subscribe button. You'll be doing me a big favor if you do. Thank you so much. Thank you. This list, Pro Football Focus, top 32 wide receivers in the NFL right now. It's a lengthy list. There are even 2 or 3 rookies in here who haven't played a snap of pro ball yet, but they've been included in this list. Surprise, surprise, number 1 on the list, Justin Jefferson. What they say about him is Justin Jefferson remains the best receiver in the NFL. Injuries cost him much of 2023, but in 10 games, he still cleared 1,000 yards and averaged 2.91 yards per route run. Now he has to do it with a new quarterback after Kirk Cousins departed for Atlanta. He'll be working with former Michigan Wolverine J.J. McCarthy. So, J.J., wish I could wish you luck, but not when you're playing the Lions. So anyway, number 2, Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins. Number 3, Jamar Chase of the Cincinnati Bengals. Number 4, CeeDee Lamb of the Cowboys. Number 5, A.J. Brown of the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 6, Devontae Adams of the Las Vegas Raiders. Number 7, some guy we know a little bit about, Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Detroit Lions. Here's what they had to say about St. Brown. A mid-round steal for the Lions in 2021. Amon-Ra St. Brown has improved each year in his NFL career and now has had back-to-back seasons with a 90.0 plus PFF grade. He dropped just 3.1% of catchable targets in the NFL and may have the most reliable pair of hands in the game. And I couldn't agree more. Number 8 on that list was Brandon Ayuk of the San Francisco 49ers. Number 9, Cooper Kupp of the LA Rams. And number 10, Deebo Samuel of the San Francisco 49ers. I'm not going to go through the whole list. What, pardon me, what I will say, or what I would say was, I expect to see, if next year, if I'm reciting this list to you folks, I fully expect to see Jameson Williams on this list next year. He better be on that list. Top 20, top 15 or 16, I want to see him somewhere in there. If he is, that's telling me he will have had a breakout season this year. I've said before, if he does what Dan Campbell has already gushed about him and says they expect from him, what he's going to do, and he's most improved player this year, blah, 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 all this and that. If he does what they think he's going to do and they say he's going to do, sky's the limit for this Lion offense. Watch out this year. Granted, I know they have a tougher schedule, but the Lions are still ranked 3rd in power rankings right now, and in everything I'm looking at. Again, I apologize for the scam call, interrupting our little thing that we do here, but that's what I get for having my phone by my side here. I should have had it turned off. Anyway, please forgive me for that. That's going to do it for now. Don't forget Saturday mornings, Time Out with Andy Brown on WCSR here locally, 92.1 FM. And I will be with you again on Saturday. So until then, please treat everybody with respect. Have a good day.